Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We have assembled a team of retail experts to talk about warranty administration and the benefits. David Reinicke is the president of Automotive Warranty Network. He's joined today by Jim Sabino from All American Ford Group in New Jersey, Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln in sunny Florida, and Sean Kingrey from the Kaiser Automotive Group in sunny Wisconsin. Everybody, thank you for being here with us. And David, actually excited about this topic because I know there's a lot we're going to uncover today as it pertains to warranty at the dealership level. So
that's what we know. So that's what we like to talk about. So appreciate everybody taking the time to do so.
And appreciate Spider-Man being with us today, David, as well.
Yeah.
So, very humbled.
Took the opportunity to dress up. It's just a couple weeks past Halloween. I had it sitting around, so figured I'd have some fun with it.
Well, here we go. Let's talk to these automotive Avengers. Ed Roberts, I'll start the conversation with you, and all of you as dealership group leaders. What is most important to you when you think about your warranty processing solution? Ed, is it speed, accuracy, maximizing dollars, all the above, or something else?
It's absolutely all the above. All of us write a high number of tickets every day, and there's a lot of dollars that gets tied up in that, and that's cash flow. And so the accuracy of the schedule, the currency of the schedule, being processed every single day. There's all of it ties together to.
Hello.
How we doing? You have to cut that part out real quick.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. Laura's making things happen. She's the one that cleaned up that big old giant mess in here yesterday.
Someone's got to do it.
There's no
right?
problem.
Yeah.
All right. Ed, let me ask you the question again.
Perfect.
Ed, and I'll pick it up. Is it speed, accuracy, maximizing dollars, all the above, or something else?
It's all the above. It's cash flow. Cash flow is key. I mean, dealerships pump a lot of cash in and out of here, and every one of us on this call create a lot of repair orders every single day. And in warranty, it's the dealer's dollars that is spent until it is paid by the manufacturer. So we need to keep that cash flowing in and out. And so it's all of it. We need to make sure that they're every single day, and that nobody's calling in. The schedule's accurate and current. And it needs to be accurate to where we're not only just getting paid, but we don't have to worry about somebody coming back and taking the money back from us.
And Ed, I couldn't help but notice that just a few weeks ago when you closed the month of October, congratulations to you on the great success, the big numbers coming out of Bozard. That's going to mean a lot more units in operation and a lot more warranty dollars to process.
Well, we write a lot of repair orders today, but that doesn't come into equation with the number of repair orders that we're going to write tomorrow. We're our foot's on the gas. We've been blessed with a lot of growth, and we're looking forward to what that does. And yes, we've been the number one Ford store in the country the last couple of months, or not in the country, in the Southeast, and number 7 in the country the last couple of months. And but we're on a mission. So foot's on the gas, more repair orders, cash flow's got to go. We got to be there as well.
Did I see 800 units thereabouts in October?
Absolutely. And only for us to be chasing that this month and try to outrun it again. And records are made to be broken. And so set a record in September, set a record in October, and looking to close out another one here this month.
Love it. Sean Kingrey, what's most important to you when you think about warranty processing?
Well, I'll follow up with Sir Ed, just said the same thing. As obviously it's all three, it's all the above. And I think you can't also weigh into the fact of getting the technician paid quickly. There's nothing worse than having a tech come in tomorrow and not getting flagged for the car that kicked his rear end all day yesterday. He already knows he's going to take a beating on it. And if it's not flagged, it just starts the day off bad. So I don't think you can overstate that about the importance of getting the tech paid on time so they know where they are. And it also goes into your morning coaching with the technician. If you're looking at their hours and where they're pacing for the week, and you've got warranty claims sitting out there, and I know we talk about Julie Douglas with dealer pay and all those other things, but also, guys, as Ed said, you got cash flow with controllers. If you got a lot of money tied up in warranty, guys, that doesn't work. I mean, you got to have cash flow, and you got to get them paid quickly.
So you're saying that wouldn't make you necessarily the favorite of the controller?
No, it wouldn't make you the favorite. And as you know, we're all domestic and I've got warranty labor rates now at $298, and I brag about that at $300. Guys, that's huge cash money, huge cash flow. You can't have that stuff sitting idle. You got to get paid.
Yeah, I agree. Jim Sabino, welcome to the conversation. First time we've had a chance to talk to you about warranty processing. What are your thoughts on what's most important to you?
Yes, thanks, Ted. So obviously, to echo Sean and Ed, spot on. All three are just as important as either one of them. Nobody takes a priority in that pecking order. Cash flow, efficiency of processing the claims to get paid, to get funded from the manufacturer, the accuracy of the claims, getting exactly what you're entitled to. I always tell my people and the manufacturer reps that I come in contact with is that I want every penny I deserve and not a penny more. That's all I'm looking for. I just want to get exactly what we are entitled to. The tech gets his time based on his write-up, the diagnosis. The parts are marked up properly as set, as per your state and your agreement with your manufacturer. And any type of additional M time that we call it in our world over here that is paid for any abnormal diagnosis or anything out of the normal outside repair. So the efficiency of the claims being submitted to the manufacturer for payment is very critical, and the accuracy of the claims that are being handed over to be administrated is key because that just prevents it from being kicked back for a correction, whether it be a one-time use part that's missing documentation from the technician, not enough parts or missing parts on the parts line for the repair that the technician stated that he did. So there's a lot of variables, a lot of moving parts, and it's a very, very thought out, methodical procedure that needs to be done to keep the cash flow moving in a healthy position for the dealership, for the accounting department, your controller. There's a lot. Your warranty schedule, there's a lot of variables, which I'm sure we're all gonna touch on those as we get deeper into this conversation, but they are all important. Correct.
Sean, as a follow-up, let me come back to you. You deal with several domestic nameplates there. Are the manufacturers looking, would you think, harder than ever before at some of these warranty processing claims to put through?
Ted, that's a great question. And again, we'll talk about the Chrysler side for a second. I know David does a ton of business with Ford, but right now everything's getting stuck in review status, and it'll sit in review status for 30 or 60 or 90 days. And that's holding up your cash flow, and you get controllers. And by the way, these are things as we talked on the panel when we were in Orlando, guys, these are things as simple as recalls, things that you have to do that are simple and repetitive, and they're still getting stuck in that review status. And the more and more the way the labor rates are getting set by state, and again, we're in a very generous state when it comes to labor rates. Now they're setting them, and Jim talked about TT time or 00 time or M time, whatever you want to call it. The claims are getting more frequent in those, so you're claiming more of that time, which has to be reviewed and approved. And again, your warranty status, whether it's premium or whatever your manufacturer is, if you're not at the top level and you're at a base level, listen, you can't replace a spark plug without permission. So to answer your question, Ted, I don't know that it's ever been closer scrutinized than it is now. The manufacturers want to keep what they've got.
Ed, do you want to weigh in, Ed Roberts, on that?
Restate the question there. Sorry.
Are the manufacturers looking hard and fast at warranty, perhaps more than ever before?
They are. I mean, look back at September, October. We had a strike with 3 of the major manufacturers, and that affected their cash flow as well. And if they can slow down the payment process to us dealers by putting another layer in there, then it helps their position. And so certainly, but really the reality is we need to make sure our stuff's right. And if we make sure our stuff's right, they're going to pay us. And if they want to put a layer in there to make sure that it's right, they have the right to do that. And we got to be able to follow that. And when you got a guy like David, where he's got a team of people, and that's what they do every single day, is if something's changed or whatever else, they bring everybody up to speed on that, rather than our guys find out 2 months later when this claim is not getting paid for whatever reason, and there's 12 of them right behind it. It's already addressed in front of us. But yes.
David, there's a lot of good points here, some that I hadn't even thought about, when we crafted some of these questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of points to make, and it highlights the importance of it. And there is a lot of scrutiny on it right now. And Sean, I'll go to your comment about your labor rate. I mean, I think the labor rates are climbing, and I've talked about this on other panels that we've done before, but our average client now does anywhere between $1 million and $2 million of warranty revenue, every year. And we have some that do over $1 million a month. So when you talk about those high dollars and, protecting those dollars, I think, accuracy is very important to make sure, all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. We have all the diag readings, measurements, results, everything that's needed to make sure that claim it is claimable and we can get it paid timely, but also kept in the event of an audit, because again, those are really big numbers. And, going back to what I've talked about before, I mean, we're really big on helping a dealership safeguard that money and making sure that when the manufacturer comes in to scrutinize that work down the road, that it's kept. So I think accuracy is very important. Obviously, working with the amount of dealerships we do, the next thing is paying your technicians and making sure they're paid timely. I mean, they're your commodity, right? They're the ones fixing the vehicles, so we want to make sure that they're paid and happy and flagged, properly. So, I think that's a very important one, and it was really, really important to everybody on this panel. So, obviously, is a warranty company, and I'm sure if you have an in-house admin, it's very important that they make sure they pay your technicians properly and timely, and we make sure that they're happy, right? So, so I think all of those are very important. And then, of course, the speed is very important too of the processing, because as we talked about with Chrysler, and Ford has their own metrics. I mean, the manufacturers are weighing dealerships on these metrics. So how quickly are you submitting a claim? Is it going through? Is it getting paid the first time through, or are you having to throw it against the wall to see if it sticks? So all those metrics are very important, and that goes into the accuracy and speed of processing a claim. So, it's really kind of gotten to be kind of a science, if you will, a little bit. So,
David, I was going to use that term. The manufacturers have really made it into a science, because they may not call it a scorecard, but they've really got something similar to a scorecard on how every dealer is performing in terms of this metric. And David, they're very watchful for that, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, with data in general these days, I mean, everything gets weighed and measured, and, you can really come up with a metric for, anything that goes through the system. So even if they're not weighing something today, they have all the information to weigh it down the road if they'd like. So it's really important to make sure that everything's done right. Even down to, you don't want to send a claim through this way and then do the correction and then send it through another way, because that can be looked at as, was adjusted or modified or whatever the case may be. So I think all these points are very important, and, go into, doing this process properly and ultimately being successful all the way around with the warranty process. So,
gentlemen, I've had the great benefit of spending time at each of your dealerships. And I want to come to each of you, starting with Ed Roberts first. Ed, got a big operation there going on between Ford and Lincoln. I don't know whether you've ever considered outsourcing your warranty admin process, but if so, what are some of the pros and cons that dealers such as yourself need to weigh versus doing it in-house versus outsourced, that you want to share with us today?
Well, a lot of times we think as far as a dealer that a paid claim, and the warranty administrators think this as well, a paid claim is an accurate claim. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate, and we need to make sure that we retain the money. The last time we did this, we talked a lot about audits and what leads up to audits. Well, there is things that we can do to satisfy that claim and get it paid, but it doesn't necessarily make it correct. And so having someone that understands the system the best is not only correcting the claim, but to get paid, but they're ensuring that we get to keep the money and minimizing our chance of an audit. But also, if we do get an audit, they're there to support us through it. They're there to say, hey, here's the reason why we did this, rather than just hanging us out to dry and saying, well, okay, well, we didn't know that. So there's tons of benefits that comes from it. And I can't emphasize enough the timeliness of the claim payment. There's a lot of cash that we flow through these things, and there's $47 billion that these manufacturers spend on warranty annually, and that is cash flow. And that $47 billion starts off as our money before we get refunded back or get credited back from the manufacturer.
Sean, you've led some big dealer groups in the past. Your new dealer group here, fairly new, right? Past year or so. What are some of the pros and cons of in-house versus outsourced that you've considered?
So, Ted, in my previous life in Florida, I had 22 stores. I outsourced it all. I outsourced all 22 stores. And I'll tell you where I struggled, and we'll get to where I'm at now. is warranty administrators historically, naturally, whatever you want to call it, they forget who they work for. I hate to tell you this. They forget that Ed Roberts is Bozar Ford, and that's who's paying their bill. They forget that Jim Sabino is the one paying their bills. They think they work for the manufacturer, and they start to side with them, and they start to take shortcuts, as Ed said, to get the claim paid. They think that's the answer because they get a relationship with the rep, and that's how they do it. And historically, that's what warranty administrators do. So here, and I know Jim, and we were going to talk about it, is I'm in a unique situation. When I came here, it's been a year now officially, is I brought warranty in-house. At the time, we only had 7 stores. I had they were doing warranty in 7 different ways. I brought 2 guys in-house. They're just down the hallway from me. They work directly for me, and they do all 7 stores for all 3 manufacturers. It works very, very well. Then we buy a store in Janesville, and it's our number 2 producing store, and they were using David's service, by the way, and it's working so well, I have no desire to change it, to be very honest with you. It's streamlined. It works well. It's a General Motors store, and we all like to pick on Ford and Ed and the way the Ford does their warranty. GM's warranty is no better, by the way. They have more steps and more signatures and punch times and everything else than anybody else does, and it's working so well, I wouldn't change it. And to be very honest with you, Ted, if one of my 2 guys that are sitting right down the hallway from me left, I'd outsource it. I would outsource group wide.
Amazing.
I appreciate that feedback, Sean. I'm glad we're doing a good job for you there. So
Couldn't be happier in Janesville, quite frankly.
I'll
Go ahead,
touch on that for a second as well. It's a one-stop shop. I'll help the audience. There's only so many things that we can focus on at one time. And so parts department is usually some of our least trained people, and the next least trained people in the dealership is warranty administration, and it puts us very much at risk. And we can, with outsourcing it with a company like David, you take that off the plate and you can shift your priorities to something else that you can work on and make progress on working on the business rather than working in the business to keep things being processed.
Yeah. David, I was going to follow up and say that, here's a 25, 26-year employee, okay? But, as time goes on, okay, that's changing. And that's not, necessarily the most desirable position, at the dealership level. And at some point, David, dealers are looking at, making a decision, when those employees retire and move on and so forth. Speak to us about that, if you would.
yeah, so we actually get a lot of clients through that, and through employees that are retiring that have been there, like you said, for 25, 26, whatever, however many years. And rather than replace or train up again, they want to just turn it over to a service like us and have us handle the headache. And, we have some dealer groups that they've just completely eliminated the warranty admin position and they just solely use our company. So anytime they acquire a new store, they just plug us in, and it's worry-free for them. They let us deal with the headache of hiring people, vacation time, sick time, all that kind of stuff. We just, but I don't begrudge any dealership that has a working system. I always truly say I want a dealership to be successful in what they're doing. So Sean, in your case, if you've got good people in there that know what they're doing and they're doing a great job for you, I'd never try to convince you to come to our service and we just want to truly help dealerships that don't have a working system and help them develop something that's going to work. So there was a lot of good points made through this last bit of conversation. Jim, I want to touch first on what you said about the partnership, because we believe so much in that and how important that is. And we really try to differentiate ourselves from a traditional vendor and being a partner, because, we're not just, processing paperwork. In the event of an audit, we're going to be standing there by your side. We're going to take responsibility and accountability for the work that was done. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure your people are happy. So that term partnership is super important to us for sure. So I really appreciate that comment.
Sure.
And again, not to, if you have something in place that's working for you, we want you to truly be successful, but we're always here if you need us. Some of the other benefits to outsourcing that it sounds like everybody's kind of aware of is, with our company specifically, you don't just get one person. I mean, we do give you a dedicated warranty administrator, and kind of like it was mentioned earlier, I know some dealerships have a hard time with the concept that I don't have an office to walk into to talk to the warranty administrator. I don't have a face to see, but we are always a phone call away, and we do give you a dedicated person, the same person every single day working your account. You also get a team behind that. So you get a team leader that oversees that person that's also involved with your account. So there's a lot of knowledge that you get with using an outsourced company. And of course, we always have the backup department that covers our employees if they're ever out sick or anything like that. So those are kind of the benefits, but ultimately, we just want everybody to be successful in what they're doing. So,
Ed, I'm hearing a lot about complexity in the warranty process, and that's not getting any easier. It's getting more complicated, and staying on top of all the rules and what you can claim and what you can't is really, it's getting tough to do all that. Have one person do it all.
It is, like Sean said earlier, there's so many different layers. It doesn't matter the manufacturer. And for the audience, again, there, if you have multiple points, with having a source like David, you got one source handling all those points for you. And they have a team of people that are able to lean on each other. It's like going to the mom and pop store that only has one technician. Maybe he can find the problem, maybe he can't, but then you go somewhere else and they got a few people they can bounce ideas off of. Well, that's exactly what they're doing there. When they run into obstacles as well, we all do. And when they do, they have people, they have resources, they got people they can lean on to help build themselves out. And they have connections with the manufacturer to get a clear understanding of what the new rules are when they do change something up.
That's another good point to make too. We've through our ethical operations and our bandwidth with most manufacturers, we have developed relationships with, excuse me, factory reps, the manufacturers. So we do have a good reputation with a lot of manufacturers there as well. So, there's, again, like we've been talking about, pros and cons, and
there's no question about it. Your service takes a lot of pain points out of our daily business. As Ed said before, let's focus on the business and a lot of these pain points. And warranty administration is sometimes viewed upon as a pain point because it is very complex. It's very at times time consuming, where you get the big involved claims with the electrical on some of these EV vehicles, or the tech hotline is involved in, and there's 3 pages of chatter between the technician and the technical hotline that needs to be attached to that claim to support all the M time that's being asked for. So there is a lot. So your service and your team of people, like Ed was saying, there's a whole team to rely on. That's to me is a pain point that is welcome to be taken off my plate. And not have to worry about that. And the partnership, knowing that, hey, my success is your success and vice versa. So if you can get that claim paid, I'm whole with my money, we move on to the next task. And the other ones are just repetitive. The maintenance claims, repetitive recall claims, those are very, very simple, simplistic claims, in and out, couple of keystrokes and you're done. But the other ones that are very, very involved, which there have been a lot, the big engines, transmissions, diesels, EVs, those are pain points that are welcome to a company like you that would take that over and say, hey, we got this, and we're going to process these claims because that's what we do. That's what we specialize in.
Well, and on that point, if we have, we also see in our network where if we're doing 150 other Ford stores, likely we've run into that situation a couple of times with other stores. So it's not like we're dealing with it, on these one-off occasions.
No,
we've seen it before. So, we're, usually we have experience dealing with it. So,
no, of course. Yeah. That your expertise is going to just take that over because you've seen it. You've seen it at a dealer in Texas or in California or in Florida or in New Hampshire. You've seen that happen. So where we can only see what happens under our roof, you see what happens over 1,200 rooftops of your current client list. So, and that's again across all manufacturers. So it's a very complex job. That's not a very sexy, appealing job. So, it's hard to get somebody with that kind of knowledge. And then the ramp up time of training is also very long term. It's not 2 or 3 months. It's years in the makings when you get into these very complex, and then the manufacturer changing up the program once in a while on you. So you always have to be versed on that, as all the changes that happen.
Sean and Ed, I'll give you the last word on this topic. Sean first.
Well, all right. So, the one thing I think we missed in that David's outsourcing as a whole, like I did in Florida, like I do with here, is when you have somebody in house, and I'm not saying that everybody's this way, but like with General Motors, with all the signatures that are required and the miles out, and again, audits don't scare me. Audits don't scare me at all, because if you do the right thing every time, you have nothing to worry about. Not that I want to be audited, but if I'm going to be audited, it's not going to be because of fraud. But the things that outsourcing and what David's team does is they make sure that the miles are out there. They make sure the signatures are in the right spot. They don't do what Ed said earlier. You just do what you got to do to get the claim paid. They make sure the claim is paid and it's right. Because quite frankly, and I'm not here to give David's resume, guys, if you get audited, they stand behind it. If you get audited and get charged back because they missed a signature, they stand behind that. So again, I like outsourcing. Yes, I brought it in-house because I had the individuals here to do it for the stores that I had at the time. But again, I also outsourced to one of my stores. So
Yeah. Ed Roberts.
There's opportunity for all of us to see whether it's something that can enhance our business or not. But think about this for a minute. We all need more technicians than we have. And a paid technician is more likely to be a happy technician. And so we all have people take vacations and they call in sick and all those things. Those things are going to happen. That's part of dealing with people, and it's part of life. And that's what we want them to do. We want them to enjoy their life outside of work. Well, we can't go a week without paying a technician, because if we do, they're not a happy technician anymore. They're coming in here busting their tail. As Sean stated earlier, they got hung up on something. They're hoping to at least get something out of it. And they come in and they didn't get nothing. Now they feel like they got to go fight for it. And then in addition, we talked about a claim getting paid and being able to keep the money, but also it's a write-off expense too. Sometimes we file a claim, we get it paid, but we only get a percentage of it paid because we didn't administer it correctly, and it becomes a write-off. So we have to pay our warranty administrators. We do have policy expense. Those things tie together, and you can weigh it out and say what works best for us as a company. And there's resources like David out there that just takes that off your hands and allows you to focus on something else.
David, how do we find out more? AWN is the biggest in the field. How do dealers watching take the next step?
Yeah, I mean, you can always reach out to us via our website. At the bottom there, awninc.com. There's a contact us page. There's information about our company. There's references from hundreds of clients that that have been gracious enough to give us a glowing review. So, again, there's a contact form on our website, or you can call into the main switch there, listed at the bottom of the screen, or you can always email me directly. And I always say it, I know I've said it on these panels before, but we're not salesy. So even if you just have a question, you want to ask something about warranty and you don't want us to bother you, every day for the next 2 months, give us a call. We're happy to help and answer any questions we can for you. So
Everybody, Automotive Warranty Network is a certified partner of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. David Reinicke is on our advisory board. And David, grateful to you. And I want to wish you, your family, Jim, you and your family, Sean, Ed Roberts, you and your families, a very happy Thanksgiving next week coming up here.
Same to you. Thank you.
thank you.
happy Thanksgiving to you all.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Everybody, David Reinicke, Automotive Warranty Network, please reach out. You'll see his email scrolling at the bottom, awninc.com. The Automotive Warranty Network panel here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.